Hey, hello, welcome to another recording. This time I got a treat for you. We could do The Dark Knight. It's very hard to set that up, but there's no all hope is not lost because I am going to do another movie. Whee! Um, so I'm about to do The Mummy. I just watched it recently, so I'm gonna be able to actually say the lines and stuff. So hope you find this video well, and let's begin. The Mummy by Stephen Sommers. The universal picture globe spins, then comes out a stop on the African continent. A golden papyrus map of ancient Egypt rises up. We push in on it toward the city along the Nile. Its name written in hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics. We keep pushing in until the golden map turns to golden sand. We find ourselves descending to this ancient Egyptian city, only it's not ancient. Um, soup, superimposed across the screen are the words, "The Mummy," and it says Thebes, 2134 BC, accompanied by a narrator with a very thick Egyptian accent. A voice in my head? Do you think it's racist to have an Egyptian accent? I only do it for like European accents. Well, well, yeah. I mean, it's not like they weren't the ones that were pillaging and colonizing. So I think they get a little pass. You know. All right. All right. All right. You're right. You're right. I'm not gonna say that out loud right now. Voice in my head. But I will do the Egyptian accent. Mm. What? Honestly, it wasn't even an Egyptian accent. It was more like a. It was kind of more like just a normal accent, to be honest. It was just deep, kind of like the Arby's guy. Yeah, yeah. Thebes, city of the living, crown jewel of the pharaoh Seti the First. The camera sets down in an open plaza. An Arabian horse-drawn chariot comes barreling right at us, driven by Pharaoh Seti, an aristocrat, virile old man. The chariot wipes frame. I knew it in Naksu Namu's balcony window. Palace dusk, glaring out over the city at the setting sun, is a handsome, muscular man with intense, evil eyes. This is Imhotep, home of Imhotep, high priest of Osiris, keeper of the dead. A gorgeous, olive skinned goddess enters the outer foyer. It takes us a moment to realize that the skin tight dress she's wearing isn't a dress at all, but rather her entire naked body has been painted in the ancient Egyptian manner. She's a stunning sight to behold. This is Anxuknamun, birthplace of Anxunamun, Pharaoh's mistress. No other man was allowed to touch her. She makes her way through the ornate sanctuary. The camera comes to a stop on a cracked stone face. A beat. And then its eyes suddenly pop open. It's really a strange looking tattooed man Several more of these hideous bald men stand nearby. They are the priests of Osiris, Imhotep's guys. Their eyes watch Anck-su-namun vanish through the bedroom curtains. Anck-su-namun embraces Imhotep. They kiss passionately, feverishly. Imhotep's hands roam over her perfect body, smearing the paint. The narrator's voice fills with lust. How's that sound? But for our love, we are willing to risk life itself. And we realize that the narrator is actually Imhotep himself on the other side of the curtain. The bald priests rush over and close the doors, but just as they go, the door suddenly bursts open. Pharaoh angrily strides in, looks at the priests. The following dialogue is in ancient Egyptian subtitle. "What are you doing here?" The priests back away, scared shitless. Obviously, his arrival was unexpected. Pharaoh strides for the curtains, throws them back. Anck-su-namun stands alone, gives him a sexy smile. Pharaoh sees the smeared body paint, points his finger. "Who touched you?" They still filming? Yes. "Touch you." From behind him, his words is ripped out of his scabbard. Pharaoh spins around. It's Imhotep's. Pharaoh is shocked. Pharaoh is shocked. Pharaoh. Imhotep, Imhotep, my priest! Behind him, Anck-su-namun lifts a dagger and plunges it into his back. Pharaoh screams. Imhotep raises Pharaoh's sword. The hideous bald priest slams the door and bolts them tight. Through the curtains, they see the shadow of Anck-su-namun and Imhotep stab away at Pharaoh. Suddenly, the doors are rammed from the other side. Wham! Imhotep and Anck-su-namun turn and look. Wham! The doors are rammed again. The two lovers share desperate looks. Wham! The bald priests run up and grab Imhotep and try to pull him towards the balcony. Priests, Pharaoh's bodyguards. Imhotep tries to break free, but Anck-su-namun rips Pharaoh's sword out of his hand and pushes him towards the balcony. Anck-su-namun, you must go. Save yourself. Only you can resurrect me. Imhotep's face fills with despair. The door explodes open. Men with blue-tinted skin and strange puzzle tattoos over their bodies, strident, armed to the teeth. These are the Mumia. The priests hustled Imhotep out into the dark balcony just as the Mumia ripped through the curtains. Anck-su-namun points at the pharaoh and hisses. Anck-su-namun, my body is no longer his temple. She plunges the sword into her own heart. Out on the balcony, Imhotep's mouth opens into a horrible silent scream. For Imhotep, for murdering Pharaoh, Anck-su-namun's body was to be cursed, and it was the high priest whose duty was to curse it. Exit into the sand dunes at night. Imhotep leads the torchlight process across the dunes. Anck-su-namun's mummy is carried by Nubian slaves. They put her down into the sand along with the 5 encrusted jewel jars. Imhotep, her body was mummified, her vital organs removed and placed in sacred canopic jars. Imhotep, filled with dread, reads from Oboko made out of the pure gold. This is the Book of the Living. Imhotep, the Book of the Living contains sacred incantations that would send the evil dead on a journey into the dark underworld. Strange light suddenly flashes across the face of the slaves and the Egyptian soldiers. Suddenly, everyone's fear-filled eyes all raise as they're watching Anck-su-namun's body rising. Then one last huge flash, accompanied by a blast of wind, and it's over. Anck-su-namun's body now lies twisted on the ground. Imhotep's priests place the body under the stone sarcophagus. The Nubian slaves lower it into the hole and bury it with sand. Imhotep then signals to the soldiers, who throw their spears at the Nubians, killing them. The slaves were killed. Imhotep's knife wielded the priests' attack, and now unarmed soldiers hacking at them into the fiery darkness as Imhotep and Mumia solemnly watches. And the soldiers who killed them were also slain, so that no unholy person should ever know the exact location of the burial site. The Mumia walk across the sand, and then one by one the priests stop their frenzied stabbing, stare off the vanished Mumia. As the last Mumia disappear over the distant dune, Imhotep nods, and the priests leap onto Anck-su-namun's grave and begin digging it back with their hands. Exit Sahara Desert night. Chariots race out into the moonlight desert. Imhotep leads to the way. A hearse carries Anck-su-namun's mummy. The map of the ancient Egypt fades up. The chariots race across the map. But there was another book, the Book of the Dead, which was never to be opened, never to be read, for it contained the incantations that could bring a dead body back to life, a mostly unholy thing. Am I reading the right script? Yeah, it is. Let's see. Hold on. Dark Underworld, slaves were killed. Holy thing, there we go. The chariot arrived in the place marked on the map. In a hieratic, they race up to the stone ramp and in through the city gates. Superimposed across the screen are the words Hamunaptra, City of the Dead. It was hidden at Hamunaptra, the City of the Dead, inside the statue of Anubis, so that no such sacrilege might ever disgrace Egypt. Imhotep pulls up an ornate chest out of the secret compartment inside the giant statue of Anubis. He opens the chest and lifts out the Book of the Dead, made of black stone. Imhotep: but for my love of Anck-su-namun, I was willing to defy the gods. Initial grounds: necropolis night. Big hairy rats scurry through the mausoleums and over the headstones of this very large, scary underground cemetery. Demetrius moat surrounding the cemetery. Muck made out of the filthy water and human remains. Skulls bob into the goop, and the priests have gathered in a circle. Their hooded, lifeless eyes seem dead to this world. Their bald heads rock back and forth as they chant. Quiet, eerie hum. Heinous creatures. In the middle of the circle is a strange, twisted altar. Imhotep has unwrapped Anck-su-namun's gorgeous, lifeless body and placed her 5 sacred canopy jars around her. Anck-su-namun's vital organs were still fresh, so a human sacrifice would not be needed. As Imhotep begins to read from the Book of the Dead, a large swirling hole starts to open in the Demetrius bog. Several priests look over it, frightened, then quickly look back down at the resume, chanting. A strange mist wafts up out of the swirling hole and over the jars. It passes through them and into the Anck-su-namun's body. One of the jars shudders. The heart inside begins to beat. The chanting priest's whirling hole, wafting mist, beating heart, and Imhotep's reading are reaching a crescendo. Anck-su-namun's eyes suddenly fly open. Anaxunamun's soul had come back from the dead. Now all that was needed was to return her organs to their rightful place within her body. Imhotep lifts a sacrificial knife above Anaxunamun's breast, open about to plunge it down, and the chanting, swirling, and beating heart climax. And that's when the Mumia burst in and stormed through the startling priest. The head Mumia smashes the jar with the beating heart. The mist instantly sucks back out of the Anaxunamun's body and implodes back into the swirling hole. Anaxunamun's eyes close, dying once. Imhotep screams in rage. The Mumia grab him and his priest. My priests were condemned to be mummified alive. Inside the torchlit chamber, Imhotep is held by Anubis' head embalmers. He cringes at the flickering, impressionistic glimpse of his priests being embalmed and mummified alive. The horrid-looking embabler, using knives, needles, and thread, calming perform their ghastly surgery on the screaming priests were going insane from the procedure. A red-hot poker is inside out of the pit of burning coals. A priest's head is wedged into strong boards. His eyes widen in terror as the embalmer moves to insert the red-hot poker up his nose. But just before he does, he quickly cut to Imhotep's face, horrified, as off-camera of the priest screams. We go wide on the chamber. All 21 of Imhotep's priests squirm inside their wrappings. Imhotep is forced to his knees. His arms are held back. His mouth is pried open. Imhotep, as for me, I was condemned to endure the Homdai, the worst of all ancient curses, one so horrible it had never before been bestowed. See how far I've gotten. Still has some time. Using a pair of tongs, an embalmer slowly pulls Imhotep's tongue out of his mouth, then places a very sharp knife on top of it. We go tight on Imhotep's eyes as his tongue is apparently cut out. The embalmer flings Imhotep's tongue under the floor. The Mumia dogs attack quickly and eat it. Imhotep is wrapped alive, only his mouth, nostrils, fear-filled eyes, and left free of the slimming bandages. Demetrius' fear-filled eyes are left free of the slimming bandages. Demetrius' mock boils inside the black cauldron. Embalmers scoop out the fetid muck and apply it to Imhotep's wrappings as he squirms. He's then laid into a wooden coffin inside the sarcophagus. An embalmer with a bucket steps up and looks into the coffin. Imhotep's wild eyes stare back. The embalmer empties the bucket over Imhotep's chest. Dozen of scabs, disgusting dung beetles, they scurry across Imhotep's screaming face. Some vanish into his tongueless mouth, up his nostrils. Imhotep, by eating the sacred scarabs, I would be cursed to stay alive forever, and by eating me, they were cursed just the same. The lid, the coffin, is slammed shut. Then, using a strange four-side key, the head Mumia locks the coffin lid tight. The heavy sarcophagus lid is moved into a place with loud whooshing seal itself outright. Once again, the head Mumia uses the strange key, locking the sarcophagus lid tight. Imhotep, I was to remain sealed inside my sarcophagus, the undead for all of eternity. The blue-skinned, strangled, tattooed man carefully collapses the side of the key, turning it into a little puzzle box. Imhotep, they would never allow me to be released, for I would arise a walking disease, a plague upon mankind, an unholy flesh-eater. With the strength of ages, power over the sands, in the glory of invincibility. Imhotep's sarcophagus is dropped into a Demetrius pit. The disgusting muck splashes drools down its side and then mysteriously sucked into the seams, vanishing clean. Imhotep. And if I could raise my beloved Anaxunamun from her place in hell, together we would be an unstoppable infection upon this world. The apocalypse, the end. Imhotep's horrible tongueless screams can be heard coming from inside his sarcophagus as gravediggers shovel dirt onto it. The man title is superimposed on the scream. Da! The Mummy. The heavily armed mumia stand guard around Imhotep's grave, looking down at the burial site. It is a huge statue of Anubis, the jackal-head god of death. It stares at us, then begins to decay before the very eyes, aging 4,159 years later in only seconds. And then we find ourselves in a descriptive half-buried statue of Anubis out in the middle of the desert. Exit Sahara Hempantra Ruins, 1925. Day. Imhotep's horrifying screams became the screams of Tauric horsemen. Racing across the desert, 2,000 of his warriors brethren, armed to the teeth. Superimposed across the screen are the words, "The Sahara, 1925." A mile across the scrolling desert, 200 French foreign legionaries scurry through the ruins, preparing for the onslaught. Our hero is on the wall. His kepi sits at the jaunty angle, dashing and handsome. This is Rick O'Connell. He's out at the massive screaming horde galloping him. O'Connell. I'm gonna use a British voice for this one. I knew this day was gonna be I knew this day was gonna be a lousy day. Doughy little Frenchman joins him as he makes his way across the top of the wall. This is Benny. Oh, I didn't know Benny was French. Personally, I would like to surrender. Why can we not just surrender? Connell, shut up. Give me your bandoiler. Benny pulls out his cartridge belt. Hand it to O'Connell. Benny, let's run away right now, but we still can make it. O'Connell throws it on, crisscrossing his own bandolier. O'Connell, now give me your revolver. You'll never use it anyway. Benny pulls out his pistol and chucks it to O'Connell. Benny, let's play dead, huh? Nobody ever does that anymore. O'Connell sighs into his belt, next to his own revolver. O'Connell, now go on and find me a stick. In the desert? What for? O'Connell turns and goes nose to nose with him. So I can tie it to your back. You appear to be without a spine. The horrid warriors thundered across, now half a mile out, skirmishing, rattling. O'Connell and Benny run through the ruins. How'd you guys like to end up in the Legion anyways? Benny, I got caught robbing a synagogue. Lots of good stuff in them. Wait, how'd you end up in the Legion oh shit. Legion anyways. I got caught up robbing a synagogue. Lots of good stuff in them holy places. Scrunches, temples, mosques. Whose are you in then? Altar boys? Exactly. I speak 7 languages, including Hebrew, so my specialty was synagogues. How about you? Kill somebody? Benny strips, accidentally tackles O'Connell to the ground. O'Connell gives him a nasty look. No, I'm considering it. They got up and run to the gate down the stone ramp. Benny, what then? Robbery? Extortion? Kidnapping? None of the above, thank you. Then what the hell are you doing here? They both skid to stop in the front line as they see the horde warriors The sound of charging horses is deafening. O'Connell gives Benny a big, cheesy smile. I was just looking for a good time. And that's when the cowardly legionary O'Connell suddenly panics, cuts and runs. O'Connell instantly stiffens. Instantly stiffens. Oh shit. Steady! Gives the men around him courage, but onward come horde hoofs pounding the sand. Several more legionaries take off. Steady! To himself. What the hell am I saying? The turrets let loose those horrifying ulu long screams. More legionaries haul ass. Benny is one of them. Steady! To himself. What the hell am I doing? The turrets set their rifles and take aim. O'Connell steels himself, cocks and locks. The cartridge in his mouth suddenly snaps. He spits it into the sand. Another beat. And then fire! The legionaries on the ground fire. The rifles report the crash. The blast blows dozens of Turags clean off their mounts. The prone legionaries quickly begin to reload. Fire! The kneeling legionaries fire. More Turags bite the sand. The remaining warriors open fire. Thunder and smoke rip hot air. A third of the legionaries are killed instantly. O'Connell, fire! The remaining standing legionaries fire. Tuareg spin off their mounts, crash into the sand, and then the entire Tuareg force plowed into the ruins through the legionaries. O'Connell grabs the barrel off his rifle and starts crumbling riders off their steed, fighting like a man possessed. Benny, on the other hand, is belly crawling across the sand, whimpering in full retreat as legionaries fall dead all around him. He crawls through the front gate. O'Connell throws his rifle down and goes for his gun. He cross-draws, gun in each hand, starts blowing riders off their mounts. Benny crawls faster than he spots open a temple doorway amongst the rocks. He gets up and sprints for the door as the last of the legionaries are shot off their feet behind him. O'Connell's gun goes empty. Son of a bitch. Alright, I should probably call it quits here. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you next time.